connected live also in another webinar. That's the reason why I'm sorry we are starting with this 5 minutes late. So thank you all for joining this webinar. Excellencies, because I have by my side the pleasure to welcome for this webinar Ambassador Melvin Castellino, Ambassador of Malaysia today, and that didn't want to miss that webinar concerning women. So, Excellencies, honorable guests, dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, really good morning, and it is really an absolute pleasure to welcome you here today. My name is Laurence Martin. I will moderate this webinar. Let's say that on behalf of President Mario Mattioli, that is the chairman, the president of the Italian Shipowners Association, welcome you all, for those in presence in the magnificent rooms of Palazzo Colonna, that is the headquarters of the Italian Shipowners Association, Confitarma, and of the Italian Maritime Cluster. And let's say, what a more indicated location than the house of the Italian shipowners, that to talk about increased gender balance in the EU shipping. And we are so pleased to do so with EXA, the European Community Shipowners Association, our common house based in Brussels, and within this Festival della Diplomazia. Let's say that thank you again for participating. Today is the last day of the Festival della Diplomazia that has been able to organize more than 100 events around the city. And over this last week, 9 days of conferences, meetings, and special events have been organized. And today is the last meeting. But today we have still 8 webinars scheduled online and meetings in presence. So it's a very busy day also in Rome. Let me recall that the streaming contents of this roundtable is being broadcasted live on the Diplo channels and on the YouTube channel of the festival. If talking about, let's say, women on board might appear something normal today, it has not always be the case. And for centuries, the only female presence on board ships was a carved wooden decoration found at the bow of ships, generally some kind of a design of a woman figure. So historically, women were not even allowed to remain on ships once they had set sail. And old-fashioned, let's say, sailor superstitions thought that women on merchant and military vessels were bad luck and could spell disasters at sea. Mariners believed the presence of women would anger the water gods, which might cause storms, violent waves, and bad weather. Another assumption was that women would prove distracting amongst the male sailors during the long periods spent at sea and would be subject to harassment and even violence. So seafaring professions were barred to women until the 20th century. A woman could disguise herself as a man and assume a fake name. That was the only way to be on board at the time. So let's say that to participate in the running of a merchant vessel before last century was really only through relations or marriage. So the situation has changed. Today in 2022, promotion of women at sea, gender balance is really in the air. And to put it short, we have an international IMO Day dedicated to women. And within 1 or 2 years, for the first time in EXA, the European Community Shipowners Association, the association is going to be chaired by a woman, Karin Arthur, a former captain. So we are so happy to share that moment with the EXA. So I don't want to take much of your time because we have 7 speakers of excellence this morning, coming from different angle of the subject. We have the Shipowners Association, we have WISTA, the organization that is grouping a lot of women in the maritime sector, and many others. But the themes, we will start talking about women today because there is an important study that is going to be released whizzing soon at European level, the WES study, contributing to an attractive, smart and sustainable working environment in the shipping sector. So I will give the floor right away to EXA, because EXA has been at the forefront of this study that has been conducted together with the European Transport Federation and has been funded by the European Commission. So without any further ado, I say that Enrico Ortiga and Evina Fotiadou from EXA are there. I will give the floor to them to tell us what are the outcomes of this WES project. May I recall you that Enrico Ortiga is a senior policy advisor on social affairs in EXA, and Evina Fotiadou, policy advisor in EXA too. So that's going to be a duet, I suppose. So I leave it to you to start with that subject. Enrico, you have the floor.
Thank you so much, Laurence. I hope you can see me and hear me. I have a bit of echo.
Clear. Go ahead.
So I'm just... And now all's good. I'm gonna share my screen. And this. All right, so thank you so much. I'm having a bit of echo, so bear with me a second.
If there is an echo, can I ask our IT manager to check it? Okay, so maybe it's from you. It's not in that room here in Rome.
Hello? Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. I'm having some issues, but now I hope you can see my presentation also. So I want, of course, first to thank Confitarma for such a good opportunity to promote our project here today. WES means working environment in the shipping sector. It's something that we have been running with our colleagues at ETF, our counterpart unions. And first, I would like just to mention a bit about EXA. So the European Shipowners Association. We represent 19 national shipowners associations of the EU and also Norway. We were founded in 1965, and of course we promote the interests of European shipping. In a nutshell, the numbers of the EU fleet is 39% of the world fleet, and it contributes 149 billion of the EU GDP. It employs 2 million people, so EU shipping employs 2 million people with carriers on board and on shore. And we are a small secretariat based in Brussels. So WES project is something that is being finalized currently after 2.5 years of intense and challenging times, as you can imagine, because this project started in March 2020. We all recall the very peculiar times we were living at the time. And so we work together with our social partners, as I said, ETF. We are a recognized EU sectoral social partner for maritime transport. And we wanted to implement our work together and continue to move forward some of the outcomes we received from our social dialogue meetings we have 3 times a year. And we run several projects, which finalized one last year called MapMar, about mapping the career and having standardized tools to identify where seafarers are and to facilitate the collection of data. And of course, we also are involved in very important workshops and webinars. Last month, we had one on mental health, seafarers' mental health. So we look forward also to continue to work on such important topics. And so the importance of WES is indeed to support work by enhancing the competitiveness of the European shipping sector. So it is important for us to develop several activities centered around two pillars. So digitalization, and so the impact of digitalization on the workforce, but also women in shipping, which is our second pillar, but somehow is the one that I will start today. And then I will let my colleague Evine complement on the project itself.
Thank you, Eurico. Thank you, Laurence. Good morning, everyone.
All right. So
yeah, sorry.
Women in shipping is in fact one of our deliverables. We recognize that it's essential to, in fact, promote an on-board culture that recognizes the dignity at the end of all crew members, and so it's important for women and underrepresented groups to feel safe, to feel in fact respected on board. And so it's important to have appropriate tools and gear for women, facilities, hygiene products. And we do believe that it should be focused on specific needs that women and underrepresented groups have currently still on the career. We have moved a lot from what Laurence was talking before, but we have still a lot to face and to overcome. And it's important to also attract and retain more experienced seafarers, but attract more women also in order for them also to be part of the attractive careers that exist and sometimes unknown. And through from ImageLine, we'll also explain our work there and how we have a campaign towards identifying these careers, a career booklet, and so this makes some unknown professional path more aware, more visible for young women that would like a career in the maritime sector. And so we also believe that digitalization will increase the opportunities for women because, of course, there is a shore and onboard flexibility that did not existed in the past. And so this is also linked with the pillar one, and Evine will talk a bit about it in a second. And yes, and we have to execute awareness raising campaign in order to bring to the public in general, but to women, understanding that there is in fact numerous opportunities, and we have to dispel all this prejudice and outdated and inaccurate perception we have of the industry. And for this we target schools and universities to bring awareness of the numerous opportunities there is in the shipping sector. And practically speaking, we through the WES project we are producing guidance to shipping companies, but also to seafarers representatives. We drafted guidelines on communication on board, and we also have specific policies on work-life balance, so recommendations. And finally, I think it's also very much important to have measures to prevent, of course, and eradicate bullying and harassment on board. And for this, we worked together with ICS, and we disseminated some of their outcomes on having guidelines to support this anti-bullying and harassment measures. But I will let now perhaps Evine talk more about this. Thank you.
Thank you, Eurico. Good morning, everyone. So yeah, as Eurico said, I will talk a bit about the general project, the project in general. So we have two pillars, and yep, the previous one, yeah, it's fine. And I'll talk about pillar one first, which is a part of EXA's and ETF working group on health and safety on board. And we try The aim is to advance the work of this working group. And we had three sub-pillars, let's say, under Pillar 1. First, EXA and ETF published guidelines on communication on board, and this guidance is based on shipping companies' good practices, and is addressed mainly to shipping organizations, employers, owners, trade union representatives, and the aim is the primary objective, of course, is to promote welfare for seafarers. As a second activity, as a second deliverable of Pillar 1, we published with consultants, ADS Inside, a research report on the increased usage of digitalization on board and the possible benefits to shipboard safety and welfare. And this study more or less found that the increased use of digital tools on board are generally perceived as positive developments. So yeah, I'll explain a bit further later. And as a third deliverable, we translated the ICS ITF international guidelines to shipping companies on eliminating workplace harassment and bullying. And we translated these guidelines in 15 languages, in order to have a better dissemination of anti-bullying and anti-harassment activities and activities by ship owners. And not only by shipping companies in general. So yeah, I think, Yuriko, we can move to the next one. And yeah, so we have Pillar 2 and what the main reason we are here today, which aims to have deliverables on how we can enhance women participation in EU shipping. And of course, Sue later on will explain further on which are the main deliverables of this pillar. But in general, we have a report published that explains this effort and the opportunities to increase gender balance in the EU maritime sector. We have a very interesting online survey also where the participants can explore the different maritime careers and can answer to questions in order, to realize which maritime career could suit them best and what they could do in the maritime industry. And also we have an awareness-raising campaign in order to bring more women in shipping. So, since Sue will talk a bit, later about women in shipping particularly, I will explain how let's say, digitalization can also be linked with women in shipping, since, as I told you earlier, the study that we had under Pillar 1A proves that the digital tools on board in general are considered as a positive development and can be considered as a positive development, since they improve the personal safety on board, they improve communication on board, they reduce risks, and they reduce exposure to risks and physical challenges on board. And of course, digitalization can always create new career opportunities, both on board and ashore. And we need, in order to do that, we need to have better trainings and improved qualification, better trainings that will improve the qualifications of the crew, of the people who work on the industry. And of course, we always need, there's a necessity for new skills and how to use these digital, people on board to be more aware of how to use these digital tools. So the outcome, let's say, is that digitalization can improve conditions on board in general, can improve the industry, and so eventually and consequently can improve the conditions for women on board. So digitalization can always help enhancing women participation on board. And I will finish by saying, Yuriko, sorry. Exactly, thanks. By saying that we have our final conference on 30 November here in Brussels in De Warande. You can all register here on this email address that is attached. We are going to have very interesting discussions. We will have 2 panels talking about the 2 pillars with hopefully many participants, and we aim high for this conference. We want to have a big outcome out of it and keep disseminating all the reports and the good practices and all the deliverables that we have through this project. And of course, after after the final conference, we will also launch a website where all the deliverables will be published, all the reports, all the surveys that I mentioned earlier, the campaign materials, and anything that has to do with the project will be found in this website. And we are all looking forward. We are looking forward to having you in our conference on 30th November.
Thank you very much, Enrico and Evina, for this. Well noted. The 13th of November in Brussels is the place to be, and we will all be there. And for those wishing to have more information, details on what has just been expressed, please do not hesitate to connect to the EXA website, where you will find all the documents and all the initiatives that have been conducted so far. And now, without any further ado, I will turn, let's get to the heart of the matter. Let's turn to our second speaker of excellence, Sue Terpilovsky. I hope I'm not too much mispronounce your name. You are the Managing Director at Image Line. You are, let's say, one of the leading specialists in PR, marketing, visual, event agencies in the logistics, freight, ports, material handling, and supply chain sectors. That's the reason why probably you have been chosen to conduct that study. And I just wanted to say that online, the executive summary of that study, Enhanced Participation of Women in European Shipping, is already available, and we are very eager, Sue, to hear from you now on the what is the content of that executive summary? What are the recommendations in order to enhance participation of women in the shipping? You have the floor. Thanks.
Thank you. Can you all see my screen? Yeah, lovely. So our part of the work really concentrated on looking at mainly on the seaside, but also on the shore side, about how we can get more women to participate in the maritime sector. Kate, myself, and Julie worked on the project together, and we really obviously couldn't do as much as we wanted to do because of COVID, so virtually everything was done online, but we did have some fantastic focus groups and sessions where we really delved into some of the details behind the report. So the report falls into 2 sections. We've got our research side of the report, which looks at the focus groups, the surveys, and what we found out from this, and came up with some recommendations. And then we also looked at some practical deliverables that we can actually use from our findings that people can take forward, because we are passionate about no more chit chat and actually looking about what we can do to make a difference and make a change. We also looked at the gender policies that Rico mentioned earlier, some of which actually some of our recommendations have been taken on board already, and we look forward to many more being doing it. So, but this part of the presentation, what I wanted to concentrate on is some of the campaign materials and some of the practical sides that we can take away. As you've heard, that the executive summary is online and you can look at the research of things there, but that's far more in depth than we can go into today. So what we looked at was creating an awareness campaign which increases the knowledge and dispels the outcomes, inaccuracies and perceptions that people have about our industry. It highlighted career opportunities both in shipping and sea and ashore, and many openings exist for people to actually go backwards and forwards between the two. We produced guidelines to assist shipping companies and organisations of how they can use this material. And we've also looked at cultures, because we find there is a duty of care that if we are putting women into these positions, that we need to make sure they're safe and secure as well, because it's on us if we're promoting this to do that. We also looked at how we could communicate some of the policies in a work-based environment, making them friendly to women and for women to understand. Because one of the perceptions is that we've found is there's lots of people who've done training, but it doesn't actually resonate with them exactly how that applies to women. So our marketing campaign focuses around an online career quiz, which allows people to do a very short quiz, and you can see the thing. Oh, there, sorry, bear with me.
Hello, yes. Yeah, everything is all right. We can hear from you. You can go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, 2 seconds. I'm not sure what happened there.
Eva, I'm afraid we don't see your presentation at the moment.
Have you got it now?
Not really.
See if I can open it again.
Take your time.
Have you got it now?
Yes.
Okay, so we online quiz, which is going to be available both on 2 websites and promoted very heavily on social media, is aimed at people from the age of about 15 upwards to look at what they could possibly do as a career in the maritime sector. It's based off of NLP, and it's based about different types of people you are. So are you an adventurer? Are you somebody that likes to do lots of detail and process? And it goes through 3 or 4 times that illustration, so you can really find out what type of person you are. And then it comes up with 3 suggestions of the type of careers you might want to look at sea. And people then can go on the website, have a look at more in depth about those careers, and we're going to have pointers to different websites where they can go and find out more information. And also they can look at other jobs in those sort of career types and patterns. It's also accompanied by an online book, a booklet, which can be used both by educators, schools, people that are giving career guidance, people that go into schools, because I know there's lots of people in the shipping industry now that visit schools, so they can use the career booklet as well and then point people to the quiz. We've also got a series of animations, which would look at how people can think again about the industry and make it more attractive to people and relevant to them. There's a set of poster ideas and some anti-harassment and bullying work coming off of Pillar 1 to help enhance that work. So to let you have a little look at things, as you know, they will be on the 30th of November. So if you want to see all of it, please do come along and join us. But there's the careers booklet. As I say, that's aimed at educators, not at the youth. The middle, the second and the third image are some of from the animations, which it's just explained a little bit more about what we're calling the world's best kept secret. And that's something that came out very strongly in our research. People referred to us as, well, once I found you, I really knew about you, but you were the world's best kept secret. And it was a phrase that kept coming up time and time again. Here's some of the adverts and poster conceptual ideas that we've come up with that make it very relevant to the people, again, using NLP behind it, actually showing them as part of the industry and saying to them, you can be part of this industry. Some of the work we did based off of both Pillar 1 and our own research was looking at how we can make it a safe environment. So we've created a poster which sits alongside the health and safety posters we all use in our offices that looks at diversity inclusion, gives some help of what is available and what people should be doing, and also allows the company to put in their DPA or their local person that they should contact if there's any issues. So people know that they're in a safe and secure environment. The idea is to make it feel like it's a safe environment. We're not there to highlight the sort of things, but the culture is there that people care about people. And there's also a quick guide on harassment people can have that you can give to employees. So what we've started here is something that's the beginning of all this work. We can't do it without you. For some reason, sorry, the PowerPoint's on, but it was the last slide, so it's fine. So basically, without you helping us disseminate this work and taking it forward, it's not going to work. We've done lots of good work here, but my plea to everybody in this room now is when it all is up on the website from ESCA, please share it with all your local people, share it with everybody you know, get it out there, because otherwise it will stay the best kept secret. Everything we're doing is open source. So everything you've seen there is going to be InDesign files up on the website. People can download them, they can adapt them, they can change them. We want it to be as open as possible for everybody, because the aim of this is that we want to see more women in our ships, on our ships, in our offices, dealing with ship-related jobs. And we only can do that if we all work together as a team.
Thank you very much, Sue, for these very inspiring remarks and indicating the way forward. I think that's exactly where we have to go. We now know that the D-Day is, of course, for this West study is going to be in Brussels on the 30th of November, but we have to disseminate. We have to spread the word as much as we can, using what, as we are doing today, this initiative, national initiative as Festival de la Diplomatie, or any other events that are going to be scheduled for the next month to come and for the years to come, because as you rightly pointed out, we have to avoid this to be the best kept secret. So well noted, your message has been heard. So without any further ado, let's go to our third speaker, Anne Panknin Christensen from Denmark. Your initiative is really remarkable and has been qualified by a quite well-known specialized newspaper in the maritime sector as almost magical initiative. Please, do tell us more. We don't want this to be a secret. And you have the floor.
Thank you, and thank you for that presentation. My name is Anne Panknin, and I am from Danish Shipping, where I work as head of education. I would like to tell you a little bit about our best practice and also our new initiative that is called our Diversity Award. Back in 2019, we all gathered here in our house in Copenhagen with a task force for that work for more women at sea. We worked together with this task force. The members were female seafarers and politicians, employees from the shipping companies, management level were also there. So we were all together and we ended up making these recommendations for getting more women at sea. The recommendations, we have been working on each and every one of them, and that had made some initiatives. One of them was making a charter that all the ship owners could sign up for. When you sign up for this charter, you also you have to set goals for how many women you will have in your company, both on shore and at sea. And some of our ship owners have actually been so bold that they set a percentage of 30% women in 2025. But you also sign up that you will work with with the gender barriers and creating more gender balances in your company. And this all led to a couple of initiatives. And when you are, some of the initiatives you are able to do in your own companies, but there's also a lot of initiatives that only make sense if you do them together. And the initiatives that we will have to do together, as the Danish Ship Owner Association, we do these initiatives together with the industry. One of the initiatives is our cafe called Parentship. This is for parents on the parental leave. It's both women and men who can participate in this, but actually we have mostly new moms coming in. We created this cafe because a lot of women from the industry said it was different from them when they were on parental leave. They had different thoughts about coming back to their careers afterwards, and different thoughts about being a parent in general. It was different from them that it was, for example, if you were a school teacher and you could be home every day at 3 o'clock. These are very ambitious females, and for the seafarers, they are away from home for a long period of time. So we created this cafe so they can have this networking, and we also have during the cafe some kind of a theme that they want to hear some more about. This is first aid for children. And we also created another initiative. It's a mentoring for young women at sea. All of the female students get a mentor before going out on their first sailing period. This was actually quite a success. So we have opened this initiative for all young seafarers, not only for the females. And then for the females on shore, we started this women lounge, and we had different themes where the females who are in an education, typical our Danish shipping education, they can come for an evening and talk together and hear from other women in the shipping industry how they are doing in their careers. And as you can see, some of the male students also thought that it was quite a good idea, so they also joined in, and they are very welcome. So this was some of our initiatives, and then we have this new strategy in Danish shipping, and we are still having focus on diversity. We can see that the number of female seafarers, it's a curve that is very, very slowly getting better. So we have to focus on it for quite some times to come. And this focus have created new initiatives, and we wanted to have a focus on the initiatives in the companies, not only across the industry, but in the companies as well. So we created the Diversity Award, and we had 4 companies this year that was nominated. One was for their initiatives on parental leave, where they had better conditions. One were, well, set a very high gold standard for how many women on shore and at sea, and we had one initiatives on how to empower women. And then the last initiative, which was a women lab, and they were the one who won. And I would like to, if it's okay, to show you a video on how it went down when Hafnia won the diversity award in Denmark. So I'll just show you this film.
You are Hafnia, the winner of the Diversity Award for 2022. Voila.
And it's a recognition for doing things that you really believe in as an organization, instead of actually seeing the results for that coming through. So amazing, it's a great feeling.
The jury said about this initiative, which is the Maritime DEI Lab, and they said it was a very creative, innovative, and almost magical initiative. So congratulations to Hafnia for the Diversity Award 2022.
Yeah, Hafnia, they made this laboratory where you can pitch ideas, and one of the ideas this year was a Sea Code app, and that you can use when you're at sea, and if you need help, you can press a button on this app, and you will be contacted as quickly as possible and get help at sea. So it's safety at sea for both men and women, actually. So, well, this was some of the initiatives. I hope it was an inspiration for how we can talk about gender diversity and how we can improve some of the conditions for women at sea and women in shipping in general. Thank you.
Thank you to you indeed, Anne, for this very inspiring remark and for this magical initiative. I think that's something that we should inspire, really. And I think that through EXA in the coming weeks, that we will try to build up something. I'm sure we will be able to do it within Sud in order to ensure that all national associations are moving in the same direction, because it is important. We have all around this National Shipping Week, and I think that we should ensure that within this National Shipping Week at national level, we to have such a magical initiative promoted. But time is running. It's Friday morning, and let's move right away to our next speaker. And now let's move to a case study. We are really happy this morning to welcome Alessia Minuto. Alessia Minuto is the Fleet Labour Affairs Director, Corporate Human Resources in Costa Crociere. Costa Crociere is our, let's say, most distinguished member in Confitarma, and we are very happy, Alessia, to have you on board. Alessia, you have been, the Costa Crociere group is very active. Proactive, I would say, since a lot of time, because I think that since 2017, you have what we call in Italian Carta per le pari opportunità, should be the Equal Gender Charter, some kind of a declaration to, let's say, further stress your values. And this is within a real wide program, diversity, equity, and inclusion, that is managed by a diversity inclusion manager within Costa Crociere. So, Alessia, you have the floor. Tell us more.
Thank you so much, Laurent, for having invited me to this really interesting meeting. I'm happy to see everybody and all these professionals in this sector, maritime sector. It's a pleasure to me to join you, and I'm so sorry I don't have any PowerPoint presentation to, to show you, so I will try to talk and to be not so long in my discussion. So, as Laurent said, we as a Costa Group and also as corporation, because when we talk about Costa Group, we talk also about a bigger corporation with a lot of sister brands. We are very, very taking care about our program of women in our cruise industry, in our company, and also we are trying with different measures and initiative to grant a gender balance on board. We are building step by step together with our colleagues from the other brands to such a program and practices both for shoreside employee and onboard employee of our vessel to grant an equal environment, working environment for our women colleagues. And during this short speech, I will try to give you some hints of our best practices and to share with you some more details on this regard. First of all, I would like to mention that the gender balance and our women presence in the company is monitored by all the brands of the corporation, and we have a quarterly basis report where we monitor the increase of the gender balance and female presence in our environment. As Costa, we have a very strict target, and we want to increase the presence, in particular, on board of our vessel. And we do it through recruitment campaigns that is concentrated mostly to grant 50% and 50% of vacancies in the same position. So we give instruction also to our recruiting agency to look for the same position, 50% of female and 50% of male. This does not mean that then the company wants to keep this balance because it will be based only by a sex evaluation, which is not fair for our company because we are looking for the competence of a person, of a colleague. So this does not mean that the outcome of this recruitment campaign will be to have exactly a balance, so the 50 and 50% in the same position, but we are looking to find as much as women in also ship council or manager position, so high level position. And we are doing this. We have some problems, difficult in mainly some Eastern countries where the women cannot see them as a career or to have a professional career on board the ship. So I just name, for example, India country, where we have a very strict and strong campaign with our female in India, just to show them which can be a career on board the cruise ship for a woman, because there is still this concept that the woman cannot work in a maritime environment. So we are trying also with these specific countries to enforce the perception that women and female can work same as all the other men in the same position and with a career path in a company like Costa Crociere or like another shipping company. On this regard, I also want to share with you the difference also that we see between a crew position in the hotel department. So when I'm talking about hotel department of a cruise ship, I'm talking about restaurant, housekeeping, kitchen. So all this department where we have a higher presence of women. Instead, it's more difficult to find out in the deck and engine position. So I meaning officer, but also petty officer position, rating position that are working in particular in the engine, in the garbage, which are pretty professional skills to link to a man, but this is not exactly the true. And so we are trying also to, through a marketing also and recruitment project, to show also to an officer, a female officer, which are the possibility of career in our company. And also we are introducing a tool, a platform that is an online platform where for our in-house female officer and deck and engine PT officer, they can talk each other, and they can be the more senior officer that we have, female officer, they can be like a mentor of our youngest female profile. So this is a project that we have together with our corporation, so all the other sister brands. And we want to also schedule on a monthly or bi-monthly base dedicated workshop and seminar to promote the women leadership, the empowerment, and also a role consolidation. We have in force a sort of career path and also a model where we said that for each position you can have a career path which is the same independently by the gender. And this is our scope, to have a model for each position where show which is the career path for a position independently by the gender that you are. In addition, also we are creating during the latest month a photo shoot of our cadet, female cadet, women cadet on board, showing the diversity and the female presence also in our advertisement. So to show how the company is feeling good with these profiles. Regarding we are taking care also about the environment on board, and we are trying, if you are a woman, since this means that you have a family, and maybe our contracts can last month on board. So when possible, we are trying to grant to our colleagues, female women colleagues, to stay on board the ship that is close, that is touching ports that are close to their country and the place of residence, in order to allow the families of our colleagues to come on board during the time that the ship is calling the port, and then to join the family. In addition to this, we have our family passage procedure, which allow also the family of our colleagues to join the ship, and depending on the position, they can join the ship also during all the duration of the contract. So this means that I can host my family in my cabin. Now with the COVID, we have some more strict procedure, but anyway, in a passenger cabin, and we give the possibility to our colleagues to stay with the family family for a long period. And this is, I can tell you that this is a really appreciate benefit that the company gave, in particular to our women, because sometimes this kind of work is difficult to, if you have a family, if you have children, and so we are trying in some different way to facilitate our colleagues in order to have a pleasure journey on our ship. And latest, then I do not want to annoy you, but I can tell you that also under a salary perspective, because it's really important for us that independently by the gender, in the same, if you are cover a position, you have to be granted with the same salary condition, same benefit on board, no payout difference. And this is another slogan, because we know that sometimes not all the company in this sector are granting the same conditions. So this is also for us important. And also the voice of our female officer is important. For example, just give you some maybe stupid example, but for the uniforms, for example, we have a corporation uniform committee, and we understood that it's really important to have as a member of this committee our female colleague, women colleague on board, because just for example, they tell why I should wear trousers in my uniform when I'm in guest area, or when it's better maybe to wear something else. So we are listening also our colleagues just to put in place some practices and some procedure that maybe to listen them, and just to give a signal that you can just raise your hand, speak up, and then we try to be with you. And just I want to mention that this is not only on board, but also ashore. We have our directors and vice presidents that are women and are so put in powerful position, just to show that it's a very gender balanced company. And that's all, and sorry if I don't share any presentation, but I just want to be free with you to share some insights. Thanks a lot.
Thanks to you, Alessia. Really inspiring. Good to know what is happening really concretely at company level. Of course, you're talking about the cruise sector that is quite, let's say, peculiar, but I think it's good to know that things are moving and are moving in the right direction. I'm sure that in Brussels at the conference, at the big conference concerning the VES program, we will have more témoignage, as we say in French, of what is happening in other segments of shipping. I think that time is running, so I don't want to, we will have a lot of questions to ask you, but I think that maybe later if we have some time at the end of this webinar. Let's move to another leading ladies. Ladies, let's say an Italian best practice, Lidia Rossi. Lidia Rossi, you are the leading project manager of Formare. Formare is the Italian national shipping hub, training and education on the blue economy. You are very proactive, I would say, concerning all the EU calls that have been published over the past years. You are a leading figures because you have been dealing with most significant EU calls, in particular the SkillSea project, another project that was under the, let's say, umbrella of EXA and ETF. Just before giving the floor to you, Enrico, because I think it's important at this stage to link what is the outcome of the WES project to what is being, let's say, at the moment defined as the outcome of the SkillSea project. For those online, the SkillSea project, better known as Future-Proof Skills for the Maritime Transport Sector, is linked to technology and digitalization that are transforming the shipping industry, as it has been said at the outcome of this webinar. Smart ships are coming into service, creating demand for a new generation of competent, highly skilled maritime professionals, being men or women, of course. And Europe being a traditional global source of maritime expertise, that's the reason why the 4-year SkillSea project has been launched. It was in, correct me if I'm not correct, Lydia, it was in 2019. So we are approaching the deadline. So please, Enrico, because EXA has been really at the forefront of this project too, let us see how you see the link between WES, and then we'll give the floor to Lydia. Enrico.
Thank you, Laurence. And indeed, there is, in fact, a very important link. In fact, when we want to reflect through WES on the necessity to improve the qualification of seafarers to achieve secure, safe, environmental sound, efficient shipping, we have to consider that they have to be highly skilled maritime professionals. They have, and only as such we can aim at attract new entrants and also create the conditions to retain experienced seafarers, and particularly women. On WES, of course, we will discuss all of these outcomes at the final conference. I will share this link on the chat. I managed to do it, so you can all register for our conference. There, all the information on this flyer, and I will be very much happy to see you in Brussels. I will be happy to discuss such important topics, and indeed to understand how we can improve working conditions on board. And there is a clear need, we think, for future-proof skills for the maritime transport. We think that ultimately we have to ensure that the professionals on board have digital, green, but also soft management skills in order to deal with the rapidly changing maritime labor market. And so clearly, when we talk about WES and we talk about how can we implement all these measures we have in terms of create appropriate and safe conditions for bringing more women on board, I think this is also a big part on the skills that leaders have to have on board in terms of dealing with management of gender balance and multicultural workforce. And so there is a set of soft skills trainings that is increasing. So regarding leadership, teamwork, culture of inclusion, to handle diverse crews and gender balance crews, and this is all through communication, better communication, but more training is also needed. And I think that's where the link is made with SkillSea. So SkillSea is, in fact, and I will let Lydia speak in detail about it, of course, but SkillSea has been developed through EXA together with these unions, and is comprised of the union's ETF is comprised of a consortium of 16 from partners from 16 countries in Europe, and Lydia and Formare are project leaders here, and I'll let her in a second develop on the outcomes and the state of play of the project. But just to say here that it is ultimately important for maritime professionals to have at their availability key digital, green and soft management skills. And so only as such we can aim for having a more diverse and gender balanced workplace. But please, Lydia, take the floor. Thank you.
Okay, good morning. Thanks to Laurence and Enrico for this introduction on Skillsy project that I'm going to present today to you. I'm very glad to be part of this interesting panel, and I will be glad to present the outcomes of the Skillsy project. As already mentioned by Laurence and Enrico, the project, can we share please the presentation? Okay, thank you. Can you all see the presentation? Okay. Is working? No. You can change probably. Okay. So, as introduced by Laurence and Enrico, the Skillsy project has been funded in 2019 under the Erasmus program. It is a very big project of 4 million, and it will end, it has been an extension of 6 months, so it will end at 30 June of 2023. We have as coordinator a very big and relevant group from Netherlands that operates in education and research activities for shipping and logistics. We are a consortium of 27 members, as mentioned by Laurence, under the umbrella of social partners, EXA and ETF, but we also see the participation of universities, shipping companies, and competent authorities. We are also glad to have a representative of the Danish shipping, since it's part of our project. And we have also the relevant role of the advisory board, of which Confitarma is part. Next slide, please. So, giving a glance of the Skillsy and the main objectives of Skillsy, we can say that it aims at fostering the cooperation at two levels between the shipping industry, the vet providers, and the competent authorities in order to develop a strategy for education and training in order to make professionals more future-proof, adaptable, and attractive, support the maritime professional to gain appropriate skills, and ensure in the long term a skill sustainability in the framework, of course, of the European maritime sector. Of course, all these objectives will include all thematics related to offer equal opportunities and gender balance for women, and to make attractiveness for women participation in the career path and maritime careers. And of course, we will, under this project, take into account the equal opportunities and increase the number of women for maritime careers. Next slide, please. Okay, here you can see all the architecture of the Skillsy project that basically includes a preliminary activities that consist in the skills gap analysis that has been relevant for us in order to identify the gaps and mismatches of the sectors in terms of skills, and it's led by a Norwegian university, NTNU, and these preliminary activities has been strategic to identify the gaps through which we have identified dedicated training modules and training programs for future-proof education, and that is part of Work Package 2, led by Danish university. And we have provided to design specific modules that I will explain in detail later on. And finally, in the last part of the project, we are developing a strategy, a pan-European strategy dedicated to future skills for maritime transport sector in order to set up the sectoral skills strategy. And of course, we are running also all activities that support us to showcase showcase all the project findings within the shipping community and national and European level. And we are, as Formare, the leading partners, the work package leader of the last part of the project that will aim to ensure a sustainable skills strategies and to organize policy dialogues at national and European level in order to ensure recommendations on skills for the shipping industry and implementation of a sectorial skills strategy. Next slide, please. Going into details of each work packages, it appears from the skills needs analysis that, and through surveys conducted under these work packages, that the main skills need identified are related more to topics related to digitalization, green skills, ship technologies, maritime law, soft and transversal skills, and maritime economy. So based on this analysis, we have developed under Work Package 2, next slide please, the educational packages that basically are focused on the main topics that are affecting the challenges of the shipping sectors, that are digitalization and green transformation. So we have dedicated specific modules to digital and green skills. Entrepreneurship, of course, represents a very relevant and strategic part of our didactic module. We have dedicated also modules to STEM, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, leadership, and a dedicated module to train the trainers, so a manual that will support teachers to implement the training materials among vet providers and European level. So we are developing piloting activities that will experiment the training modules that we are drafting in order to be future-proof for the maritime professional. Next slide, please. As said before, we are also drafting and designing a pan-European strategy that will aim to set the future skills for maritime transport sectors, and that will be the outcome of all key findings obtained through the management of and implementation of this project. Next slide, please. For what concerns the activities related to dissemination and stakeholder engagement, and said before, we are trying to engage the key stakeholders of the shipping industry, and of course we are aware of the relevance of women and to increase the gender representativeness on the shipping industry and the attractiveness of women into future maritime jobs. So of course, the project will take into account the gender balance and to offer equal opportunities for women. And finally, we are designing as Formare, together with the French Maritime Competent Authority, SGMER, a sustainable implementation of the skills strategies that will ensure or will aim to design a long-term action for the future-proof skills for maritime professionals. And in fact, during these years, we have organized also, thanks to the strong support of our head of international relations, Laurence, a lot of seminars, workshops, and panels dedicated to the skills of maritime professionals. We are currently trying to sensitize the competent authorities to invest in maritime education and training. We have joint collaboration with similar EU projects, such as VES, MATES, and other relevant projects in the sector, in order to create strategic networks for a long-term cooperation model. So this is the whole picture of our projects, and thank you for your attention. For any question, we are here to reply to your curiosity. Thank you, Laurence.
Thank you to you. Thank you indeed, Lydia. All we wanted to know about Skillsea without daring asking it, more or less in 10 minutes, you managed to give us the main points of that project, and thank you very much. I'm sure we will have many occasions to spread the news, and together within EXA at European level, but also at national level, because what has been said, what has to be done, we have really to spread the news. We have really to disseminate what is being done to improve, increase gender balance in the EU, and probably what will be interesting to do it worldwide. And so that's the reason why the last speaker of today is WISTA. WISTA needs no presentation. We are all WISTA ladies around in this panel, or have been, or WISTA ladies to be. Probably only you, Enrico, but probably I'm sure we will find a category within WISTA in order to give you a prize, something like that. So, Women's International Shipping and Trading Association. Has been, the WISTA lately has been very proactive. We all know that a few days ago, WISTA International held its annual general meeting, AGM, which took place in Geneva, Switzerland. So I'm sure that Verena von Delleman, it seems not in a very Italian name, but you are working for a very important logistic group in Italy. You are a member of the board of WISTA Italy. By the way, I would like to take the occasion to pay respect to Costanza Musso, that has been recently elected at the helm of WISTA Italy. Costanza is running a very important shipping company and member of Confitam, so we are really eager to welcome her very soon. But without any further ado, I think that WISTA released quite an important report during that annual conference, a report on women seafarers' experience on board, gender-based discrimination, harassment, and bullying. And it seems that it has been quite a shocking maritime report that has been released. So, without any further ado, Verena, you have the floor.
Thank you, Laurence. So I will also share a presentation. And so in the meantime, only one point, I'm not member of the board. So in a second, you will see the board that is composed of 5 women that you can see. You can see the presentation, right?
Yes.
Okay, perfectly. So here you can see the 5 board members of WISTA Italy. I'm only a member of WISTA Italy, and I'm really happy to be it. So yes, you're right. My name doesn't sound Italian. So, but I'm Italian. I'm from a part of Italy where there are also German-speaking citizens. So this is the reason why my name sounds German and not Italian. So for all those who don't know exactly what WISTA is, what we are doing, what is our aim. So WISTA Italy is a part of the international WISTA organization. So from WISTA International, with about 3,000 female professionals. And we are present in 46 countries. Thinking about what are the main targets, what is the focus of WISTA Italy. So one important focus is to provide networking opportunities. We want to promote the education of our members, and also, and this is a very important point, to encourage our presence in the National Maritime Cluster. And we are celebrating this year 25 years since our founding. So we are no longer totally young, but we have a long way that we have to go, because when we are observing different situations, so as also Laurence had said, and also that what we have heard in other presentations, so we are not already arrived in a situation where everything is as it should be. So what are, generally speaking, our national targets? So we want to share experiences and promote professional training. We want to encourage and support a significant presence of women in decision-making positions. I think this is extremely important. Obviously, it's not only important to be in decision-making positions, but if we have a lot of women also there, so all the general circumstances will change. Obviously, also our aim is to spread the goals of the association, and very important point is to collaborate with the authorities to support the development of the maritime industry. To this, we have to add also international targets, talking about connecting female professionals from the maritime industry, not only in Italy, but all around the world. We have also the aim to support Vista, not real members, but people who want, or women who want to establish Vista in another country. And then we're also collaborating in the organization of the International Annual Conference. So talking about Vista Italy, so right at the moment we have 80 female members from all parts of Italy. And as you can see in the slide, 38% of these 8 women have a shipping background. Then are also others, as we have 60% of our members are attorneys, and the others are coming from a nautical background, press, transport authorities, and different parts, but all are under this umbrella of Vista Italy. Here I have some numbers to see what is the situation right now. When we are talking about the port authorities, so we have not even one female president right at the moment. When we have a look on the secretaries of the port authorities, so we have Antonella Scardino, and then since some days we have a second one, and we are very happy about this, a second secretary of a port authority with Federica Montaresi. Then we are here talking under the umbrella of Confiterama, and also there we have the executive board composed of 11 men, and yes, we have women, but we have only 2. So we think this is not enough, and we have to work on this. Then I brought you also some other numbers, in this case on international level. Probably some of you know already the results of this survey conducted also from Vista International, and there were 1,128 women seafarers from 78 countries that have participated at this survey. And if you can see on this slide the result, so as we have heard also in other presentations, we have not a situation where we can say, okay, everything fine, go on, and the direction is the right way. So we have a very, very long path to arrive to a situation where we can say, okay, now we are on a good way. But what are things that we want to do, especially from thinking from a perspective of Vista Italy? So we are working especially on these points. So we want to provide good education and point on good education and career planning for not only our members, but generally speaking for all women in our industry. We are thinking that it's important to provide company rewarding for gender equality. So as Anna from Denmark explained us before and showed us what they're doing, so we think this is a very, very important approach to celebrate with and for companies that are working in this direction. It is crucial to work on fair pay and overcoming the gender pay gap. And also one point that is not only focused on women, because to create family, we have also men. So generally speaking, childcare services should be further developed. The point of mutual female support, female networking and sharing experiences is probably one of the most important targets, as you have seen before from Vista Italy and Vista in general. And we think that this is one very important point, because we have to work together. And I must also underline that it's not even though there is written female networking, but we should also include men and to organize that they are probably fighting with us. So to have them as also supporters in our aims. And then also the women quota is something that we think is important because right at the moment we need it. Yes, and all this can help us to come to a cultural change, because at the end it is the cultural change that is needed. Coming to my next slide, so I will change a little bit the approach, my perspective, no longer talking only about Vista International, but as Laurence said already, I'm the head of human resources of a company in the transport and logistics sector based in the north of Italy. And we often have this discussion why there are not so many people, not so many women in the transport and logistics sector. And we try a lot, especially also not only from the HR perspective, but also from the board, to make sure that our industry can be seen also as a very attractive industry for women. And there are some points that can help, because we are talking we are talking about services. So many strengths that women have, they are connected with relationship, they are connected with languages. And so generally speaking, if we analyze, it is often only how our industry is seen in general, because it is that it is like this, that we are seen often as a not very female industry. But at the end, when we are going deeper and when we analyze what people in our industries do, so we can see that we are a very interesting industry also for women. So we have to communicate a lot. So as Sue in her presentation said, so with the focus also on marketing and communication, so we have to point on that. And we have to not only to talk with people from our industry, but we have also to involve young women. We have to go to schools, we have to go to universities, we have to communicate a lot, because we can really say that we are working for a very interesting industry that should be very interesting also for women, not only for men. And then often other things that for me are very important, how do we make it work? So when I think about career planning, and these are really now experiences from my personal side, so really in our company, but I think, and this is also the reason why I want to share this with you, that everybody of us can do something in his small world. And if we all together are trying to change something, so at the end we will have a very big result. What do I mean when I'm talking about career planning? So something that I have observed in the past is probably you have already heard about the imposter syndrome. The imposter syndrome talks about or describes a condition in which an individual doubts his or her own abilities. And thinks that he's not so good as the others thinks. So I have seen that this is often a situation that is lived by women. So I had often the situation that we in our company offered a promotion to a woman, and she, her reaction was not only positive, but it was yes, but you're sure? No, I'm not sure about it. I'm not able to do this. My qualification is not enough. I have not enough experience to fulfill this new position. And I have to say, I've never experienced a situation like this with men. When we offered new position, a promotion to a man, the first thing was, oh yeah, perfect. Can we talk about salary increase? So this is the normal reaction of a man, and the normal reaction of a woman was, I'm not sure about it. I have to think about it. And why do I tell you this? Because I think we all can support women in our companies, in our network, and to encourage them to take new positions, to take promotions, to take new tasks, because we have to make this experience. Obviously, if I can get a new position, obviously I have no experience in this position because it's a promotion. And then leading by example is the second point that for me is extremely important. We all, not only women, but also men, should explain and really live a certain way, also to make sure that everybody can see that there is the possibility to have a private life, to have a family life, and also a certain executive role. So in our company, we try also to encourage men to take parental leave, and not only men in general, but also on the executive level, because this helps a lot. This helps on every level to make sure that life is not only work and career, but there are also other parts, and also family is a part that is very important in general. And yes, all this, as we said, or as we have seen before, talking about Vista, when we are talking about that we have to change the general culture, when we are talking about the companies, this means that we have to work on our corporate culture. And these points that I have underlined before, I think they are really, really helpful. And obviously, we cannot change the world within 2 minutes. We have to work on it. We have to work on it together. And with the help of a lot of people, we can make very, very big steps. So thank you a lot.
Thank you to you indeed, Verena. I think that I would have nothing to add. Let's say, because we are at the end of this webinar. We would have liked it to continue to further exchange, but maybe let's say that next appointment will be in Brussels for this VEST conference at the end of next month. And I think that thank you to all of you, because you have been very respectful for the time, because we have a slot allocated in live streaming, so I think that we have to rendre l'antenne, as we say. I think that it has proven, today's seminar has proven that we are quite well organized, that we have a vision, a clear vision. We have all in our respective, let's say level of action, a strategy and a work program on how best to proceed to increase gender balance in the EU shipping. And I think that with this in mind, let's skip our group together. Let's exchange between the different level of action, because I think this cross-fertilization is very useful for really participate to this let's say common objective that we all share, that is the increase of gender balance in EU shipping, but not only in EU shipping. I think we will have the occasion within the next few months and year to speak for the blue economy. So again, I think we have to leave, but I will all ask you, all the speakers online, to stay a little while with us, because we would like here in Robert to have a a photo, a group photo of all of us in order to better disseminate in the next weeks to come about what we are doing. It's the beginning of a journey. Thank you for participating to that, and looking forward to share again more views exchanging in order to progress for gender equality. Thank you. Now we are only together. We are going to move with Lydia to near the screen and to try to manage to make a photo. I hope that all those participating, our speakers, are still on. Please open your, I'll say that in English, open your camera. I think that maybe, I hope that Eurico and Evinia are still around. If not, we will make the photo without Enrico and Evinia, and we will have, okay, thank you, Giuseppe. I think that we have a good IT manager here, and we will make a good Photoshop later in order to be sure that we are all in the picture by the end of this, in a few minutes. So, it's okay, Giuseppe? So thank you all. I don't want to keep you waiting any longer. Thank you for staying with us, for sharing your views, and I think next appointment is going to be in Brussels. Let's try to be all together again. Thank you to you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.